right. Well, there's apparently no more intro that we used to have. Guess I missed out on this week. Welcome to the Fourth Monk Podcast, episode 17. It's winning in for Ohio State. Jake, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. We took a little bit of a hiatus, but that's what happens when you are working or you're sick or things like that. So hopefully everyone's still with us. We still have a very good. We'll go over a little bit of last week's games. Not much. It wasn't really much of a weekend, except for the one game, which we'll get into. And yeah, it's going to be a good weekend, and we obviously have no Ohio State, Michigan, which is
unfortunate.
It's blasphemy, and we'll talk more about that too. But right now, we're getting into today in sports history. In 1940, the National Football League championship was at Griffith Stadium in Washington, D.C. The Chicago Bears beat the Washington Redskins 73-0 in the most one-sided victory in NFL history. It was also the first NFL title game to be broadcast on national radio. And in 1948, you had your 14th Heisman Trophy winner in Doak Walker. Yes, the same Doak Walker that the other award is actually named after. He went to SMU and he was a tailback. So, before we get into more serious things, Jake has conceded that BYU is a fraud. So we will do a special edition of Two Truths and Two Lies. Jake, first, how are you feeling after that tough loss?
I mean, it is what it is. I knew they weren't going to go very far. I just thought Coastal Carolina wasn't going to be that good. I feel like – go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was shocked that Coastal Carolina was able to hold BYU to 17 points. And the fact that I've always hated this. Like, if you have one play at the end of a game, like, I understand it sort of, but you have to go for the end zone. Like, you can't throw that slant or that post or whatever that's 1 yard short, because that's what happens. It probably doesn't remind you. I don't even know if you were born yet. Reminds me of the 1999 or 2000 Super Bowl between the Rams and the Titans.
Oh yeah, the 1 yard line. Yeah,
where you get stopped at the 1 yard line. So
it was bringing flashbacks. I've seen that. Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, again, very, very close, but at the same time, how do you not go to the end zone there? Like, how do you not even attempt it?
It's one of my biggest pet peeves, and it's just like, it's just like, you're on the 20. I think they're on the 20 or 22, whatever it was, but like, you don't need to throw a Hail Mary, but you have other ways to get in the end zone other than a Hail Mary and throwing it short of the end zone. So
right.
So
no, it's just crazy.
I was surprised by the way it ended, but Jake has conceded, and we will do a special edition of Two Truths and Two Lies. So take it away, Jake.
So this week's Two Truths and Two Lies are going to be on the Ohio State football program. So you should hopefully get these right.
I'm not going to.
Ohio State has the third most number one overall picks in the NFL draft. Ohio State is number 2 in the NFL Hall of Famers, in the number of NFL Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Number 3 is Ohio State is number 1 in Heisman Trophy winners. And the last one is Ohio State is the second most winningest college football program of all time.
I don't think they're the Heisman winners, because they've only had 3, I believe, 2 for Archie Griffin and 1 for Troy Smith. I don't think they have the Hall of Famers. I'm trying to think. I don't know, I'll go with so it's not true that they have the Heisman. I'll go with the first one and the fourth one are true.
You said the first one, so the Ohio State had the third most number 1 overall picks.
Yeah, because I don't want 3 for sure, because I don't think they're there. But yeah, I'll go 1 and 4.
1 and 4. You said 1 and 4, right? Okay, yeah. So, Ohio State is the second most winningest college football program of all time. That is correct. However, Ohio State is number 1 in Heisman Trophy winners. They have 7.
Who?
Hold on a second. I actually have this up. So they are. Hold on. It's coming up. It's loading. Yep. So starting off at number back in 1994, Les Horvath, running back Vic Janowitz,
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. Go ahead.
Howard Cassidy, Archie Griffin twice, Eddie George, and Troy Smith.
I forgot about Eddie George. And that's
How do you forget about Eddie George? I didn't know the other ones, but I knew Eddie George.
well, I just know Archie Griffin is like it's like the Ohio State running back 'cause he won it twice. I didn't know
Yeah.
Eddie George won it.
Yeah.
But all those are from the 50s and 40s. I guess it's fair game, but I mean, other than that surprised me. I know Alabama doesn't have very many because they just got their first with Ingram. So, but I mean, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, you got me on that one. But with
And
that,
then, and for the Hall of Famers, you were correct. They're not number 2. They're actually number 3
I would have
with
bet.
10. They're tied with Michigan with 10 Hall of Famers.
I would bet. Who do you know who number 2 and number 1 are?
Yeah. Do you?
I'm trying to think. It's got it. Is it
It's one of my trivia. It's one of my trivia questions. So
okay, all right, that's fine. We'll keep it there. All right. So with that, we're gonna head into what do I have next?
we have the new college football.
Yeah, the new playoff poll. Not actually. I was wrong when I told you the top 7 did change. At 1, you had Alabama, 2 Notre Dame, 3 Clemson, 4 Ohio State. That's the same. 5 Texas A&M, 6 Florida. That's the same. 7 Iowa State bumped up to 7, which makes
Cincinnati bounced back, right?
Yeah, and Cincinnati's 8, which makes me think that Cincinnati has no real shot at getting in.
Right.
If they're gonna put a 2-loss Iowa State ahead of them, but we'll get into that. And then 8 Cincinnati, 9 Georgia. I have a hard. We'll get into it. 10 Miami, 11 Oklahoma, 12 Indiana, 13 Coastal Carolina after their big win, 14 Northwestern. I cannot believe they didn't drop more after losing to Michigan State. But 15 USC, 16 Iowa, 17 North Carolina, 18 BYU, 19 Louisiana. It's not Louisiana Tech people, it's the Ragin' Cajuns from Louisiana, I think. Number 20 Texas, 21 Colorado, 22 Oklahoma State, 23 NC State makes its way back into the poll, 24 Tulsa, who plays Cincinnati this week, and then number 25 Missouri, which I was surprised at. I don't know anything about Missouri. I didn't know they were. I didn't even know that they were. I put it as one of the games of the week. I mean, I don't know anything about Missouri. I have not watched them at all. Other than when they beat LSU, I think that was the last time I watched them in like week 3. So, but they hopped into the rankings. Do you have anything to say about that, or do you just want to go into news and notes?
I don't expect Miami, Florida to stay that high. I mean, I don't know if you heard today, but their game on December 19th, which was rescheduled already, the Georgia Tech Miami game, it has been canceled today. It was made official today, so I don't think Miami's going to stay at number 10 very long.
Yeah, I don't think Miami's bad in any sense, but I also don't think they're that good. I mean, it brings me back to like you said last week, the opening weekend when we thought, a top 10 ranked Miami versus Clemson was like a huge matchup, and now, I mean, we know that Clemson would run the table at them. So I don't expect them to stay very high. I'm also very surprised Northwestern is where it is because their loss to Michigan State was a bad loss, and I guess it just shows a bias towards the Big Ten, which I'm not afraid to admit. And other than that, other than Iowa State moving up 1 and Cincinnati moving down 1, like I said, it just shows me that I don't think Cincinnati has really much chance to get in. So with that, we'll head on.
I think going forward, I think Florida has the best. I think Florida, out of the rest of the teams outside the top 4, I think Florida and Iowa State are the 2 teams that have the best chance to get in. I mean, Texas A&M is a better team than Iowa State, but I mean, Iowa State moved up even after even though they're a 2-loss team, which is crazy in my mind.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how the committee. I mean, assuming that all the big wigs win we're assuming that Clemson or Notre Dame lose to one another, because if Clemson beats Notre Dame, they're both getting in.
Yeah, but if Notre
And
Dame is Clemson, it's Clemson's out.
yeah, I would think so. Yeah, but yeah, I would say Florida's got a really good chance because they have their. I mean, uh, like choose your own destiny.
Yep.
They just got to beat Alabama, which is obviously no easy task, but I mean they just got to do that. And
With their offense, it's entirely possible, and their defense is better than Alabama's has been. So
yeah, Alabama's defense has been rough, but I also think that's part and case to the fact that they're out. They're after like the second quarter of most games. I mean, they're just out. They're up so far ahead that they just like don't play defense. I don't know, but their defense has been shaky. It's definitely not your father's Alabama defense, but yeah, like I said, I was most surprised by that. But I would agree with you that I think Florida and Iowa State kind of prove that they kind of choose. Iowa State not as much, but Florida can choose its own destiny and get in. I think Iowa State still needs help, but with that, we'll head into the news and notes. This is a lot of it's from earlier. I'm also kind of looking at the ESPN page for some news, but the news from Tuesday was LSU tight end Eric Gilbert, who was a top 15 recruit, is highly considering transferring out of LSU. Coach O said his body is hurting and he's homesick. Basically, that means that he wants nothing to do with what's going on at LSU right now. I don't know if you saw, but they put themselves in a 1-year bowl ban, and I have a feeling that it's going to get worse than that. But
oh yeah, I saw that. I think more stuff's gonna come out after this season.
yeah, I like Coach O, but he seems like the type of coach to me that is almost just like doesn't even notice what's going on in the background. Like he just doesn't he like lives to coach football, but he doesn't really pay attention to the background noise and stuff. So yeah, we'll wait to comment on all that until we know for sure, obviously, because I don't want to be putting anything out there that's like not true, But yeah, so he's considering leaving LSU. I would not be surprised. I believe the NCAA already implemented the 1-year transfer rule, so they can transfer one time for free, basically. So I could see a lot of LSU guys opting out of that. But that's one story. Cincinnati versus Tulsa is canceled. I believe still is canceled.
Yep.
Which sucks because that was one of the better games of the weekend. But the AAC championship is still on as of now. I have a hard time believing that. Well, not a hard time, but it's weird to think that Cincinnati will be able to play in the AAC championship if they couldn't play this past week. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
I also saw another interesting headline is BC is the first to say no thanks to the college football, like to a bowl bid. Like they just don't want to play in a bowl this year. And Pitt announced today that they're going to join BC and be like, nope, we don't care. We're not playing in a bowl this year. So I'm wondering if teams don't start canceling if the NCAA doesn't start canceling more bowls, that teams will just take that approach and just be like, we'll play out the rest of the season, but no thanks, we don't need a bowl.
Absolutely.
We'll either win our division, and because I feel like coaches are now starting to take this seriously and be able to say, hey, these are my players' lives, and I understand they might want to play in a bowl, but it's just not healthy for them to travel somewhere that could be high in COVID cases and have a risk of getting COVID and then, maybe ruining their careers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Penn State's a prime example to me. I know they haven't opted out yet, but they've had a terrible season. James Franklin probably doesn't want to put that team out there anymore. Then they have to, just because they're just getting beat up every week for the most part. I think they won 2 weeks ago or last week, but they're just getting beat up. So they're the perfect prime example I would see as like a traditional power that just is like, no, it's not worth it. Like I don't know if Florida State will get a bid, but I could definitely see Florida State obviously doing the same thing, and I could see a lot of smaller schools doing it too, because it just doesn't the logistics behind it, especially for smaller schools to send. I don't know, like the MAC. I know the MAC champions go to, or the MAC runner-ups go to the Bahamas Bowl. I mean,
Right.
it's a ton of money to send a team there.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
I mean, I know the players will want to play in the Bahamas, but other than that, I completely agree. I think you're going to see a lot more of it. Shane Beamer, moving on. Shane Beamer was named the head coach of South Carolina, and in his press conference, he said his dad would be around the program at South Carolina. Shane Beamer is obviously the son of legendary Virginia Tech coach Frank Beamer. They were uh, uh, like the boosters, and everyone was for him. They wanted him to come and change the culture. Well, they got what they wanted. Let's see if it works out for them.
I will. I One thing to say about that is I feel like the expectation for him is he's going to change it around next year, but I just think
Yeah,
that's realistic because he's going to have to get in guys that he recruits. He's going to have to teach probably at least a lot of new plays to some of these guys who've been in the program for a while. I say realistically, you see a turnaround in this team within like the next 2, maybe even 4 years, like
yeah,
within that time span. But I know people in South Carolina are going to be having high expectations for this team next year, and I don't want Shane Beamer to be like, "Well, you brought me in for this, and we're on the track, but we're not going to be
yeah.
like a top. We won't be a top 10 team next year, but maybe the year after that once we get the program up and running. And plus, we don't even know what the future holds for college football. So
Yeah, and I don't want Shane Beamer to be the fall guy either.
yeah,
I mean that's what I think a lot of those traditional kind of powers in college football that they don't really understand, or the athletic departments don't really understand, is like you need to get your guy. If you're the new coach, you can't, unless you're at Auburn, or unless you're at like a Michigan, not even Michigan anymore, Ohio State or Alabama, or um, like
if you're a coach
Clemson.
in the program, though,
Yeah,
even
yeah,
if you're a coach in the program, if you're coming in as an outside guy, you have nobody. You're building from what they have in their system, and
yeah.
where at least if you're a coach that's there that gets promoted, or even that was like been around the team a little bit and you know the guys, then you don't know these guys if you're just coming in like from a completely outside source.
Yeah, and that's why I think you see a lot of the big names hired from within,
Mm-hmm.
because they can keep the program running and they know exactly, like that's, I mean, Ryan Day lucked into the Ohio State job. Not, I wouldn't say lucked in, but he's very lucky to have got that job because he had been at Ohio State for so long. Not for so long, but I mean, for a good amount of time, and knew the offense and was the passing game coordinator and everything. So I mean, it was easy for him. And then you like get guys like the Drinkwitz from Missouri, who the fans expect a turnaround right away, and that's just not going to happen. Especially a team like Missouri in the SEC. I mean, it's going to take 3 to 4 years to get your guys in, and it's the SEC, so you
Yeah,
never
you have to compete with Bama. You have to compete with all the other big names in that conference, and it's just like no one's going to compete with Bama in this. I don't think in this generation, but
really.
maybe down the road. But again, it's like if you want to get to Alabama standard, it's going to take time. It's not a thing that can happen overnight.
Yeah, it's yeah, I think you're completely right on that one. Ole Miss and Texas A&M has been postponed due to the virus. Um, I'm a little bit surprised it's gone this far south, but it seems like that's what the virus is becoming. It's no one's safe, and I know early in the year you saw a lot of the southern teams really not have to deal with it, or they did, but
Yeah.
they didn't have to deal with it at a major like level. And now I feel like they're going to start dealing with it. And I feel like with as COVID grows, kind of going back to what we talked about, if COVID grows, I mean, teams are just going to stop playing. Like, not, like they're not going to go to the bowl season. But
Yeah.
that's a different topic for a different day.
Mhm.
Then the last one, probably the biggest news, maybe this year. I don't know. Maybe not, but it's big news for me and a lot of fans as well. Michigan canceled their matchup with rivals Ohio State, and I'll just get into it because I wrote it down. The cancellation. Um, I'm not gonna say that Michigan dodged Ohio State, just because I don't think that's necessarily all that happened. But I think they were very happy not to have to play Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I
Like
feel like
no one's
no.
ever gonna question them about that they have the virus or anything, because it's not the type of thing you like ask if you're serious about. But I don't think Michigan had any problem canceling this game.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, we talked about it going into last weekend. It was like we weren't surprised if Michigan can't like backed out of this game because it
Yeah,
would be a slaughter. I guarantee the scoreline would have been like 63 to like 4 or even 63 to like 7 maybe.
yeah,
And it's
and
just because Michigan's just not the team this year, right? They're like historically bad.
they're
There's
yeah,
no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Harbaugh's on the hot seat. Everyone like wants him out, even though he's like, "Oh, I want to stay. I want to rebuild the program." Dude, you've had years to rebuild the
yeah.
program, and you haven't done anything about it. You
He
can't compete with Ohio State, your biggest rival. You can't compete with Michigan State, your second biggest rival. It's like, what's the You're supposed to be the best team in Michigan, and you're not even that.
yeah, I don't really know all that happened. I feel like we could get some more of that in the off season, kind of like some of our other stories, like the JT Daniels story. But yeah, I mean, I want to go on a big tyrant rage about it, but like a rant, but I don't, I'm not going to, because it's not the right place and the right time with the virus being what it is. And, but I mean, overall, I mean, it sucks they're not playing. I mean, it really just
Yeah,
sucks. It's a good rivalry. I agree. It would have been the score line would have been pretty large, but, yeah, so. After that, we shall head into. Well, I already covered the Michigan Ohio State cancellation.
mm-hmm.
We'll head into the slate for this weekend. We'll kind of mix in some info from games this past weekend as we
Mm-hmm.
kind of do this weekend's games.
Yep.
This weekend has I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty bad slate.
Yeah.
Not bad, but it's not anything exciting.
I mean, I just feel like the competition over these last few weeks have gone. What I was saying was, I think the competition has gone down a lot. I mean, I can just give you guys a live update now. There's 3 games going on today. North Texas versus UTEP, Arizona State versus Arizona, Nevada versus San Jose State, which will happen later on in about an hour and a half. Right now, UTEP is up 21-17 over North Texas. They just started the third quarter. And Arizona State is beating Arizona 35-0 midway through the second quarter. So
Did
that's
you
just a live look at our
did
slate
you
today.
did you see any of the Arizona State game?
No,
They scored 2 touchdowns in 14 seconds.
yeah, I don't want to talk about 2 touchdowns in 14 seconds. Bad night on Madden last night.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Hey,
We'll talk about
if anyone knows Madden frustration, it's me. So I'll just step up. But yeah, I was
Yeah.
just kind of
Well, let me just put it this way. It was a tie game going in with like 30 seconds to go, and I had like 5 timeouts. I had 3 timeouts, but like 50 seconds left on the board. And I threw like an out route to Aaron Jones and just got hit as soon as he caught the ball. They called it a fumble. I couldn't challenge it. He returned it for a touchdown. And then on the kickoff, he decided to sky kick it. And my Patrick Ricard picked it up, and I went out of bounds. I was going out of bounds with it, got hit sticked, and they picked it up and returned it. And I had like 14 seconds left.
that's horrible, man.
Yeah, because it was on arcade mode. And it was our fantasy franchise, and it's just not don't want to talk about 14 points or 14 points.
I hear you. I hear you. There's nothing more frustrating in Madden when they call a fumble and it's clearly not a fumble, or it clearly is a fumble, and they call the fumble, and then they'll it's not a fumble, so you'll go like check the replay or like think about it, but they won't let you challenge it. Or like, it's the same with like a pass that you caught, but like they rule it like not a catch, and you want to go challenge it, and you can't do it. It's miserable.
What's
I
the
hate
point of
it.
having a challenge button if you can't challenge it?
Yeah, the only challenge is you can do it. The only challenges that are ever right in that game are the ones by the computer because the coaches are 100% wrong every time somehow.
Yeah.
So well, that's a little bit of Madden update for you guys, and we're big Madden players.
Yeah.
So we'll head into this week's slate. Like I said, average at best, but still there's
I
football
mean,
to
there's
watch.
there's still some really good games that can mean a whole lot in the rankings. I mean, you have if do you mind if I start?
Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, North Carolina at number 10, Miami, which is a huge game for Miami. I mean, if they win this game, you got to see them jumping. I mean, we saw Iowa State jump to number 7 with 2 losses. Imagine what Miami does with a win over North Carolina, who a lot of people like, or what North Carolina can do if they beat number 10 Miami, who arguably shouldn't be at the number 10 spot.
Yeah.
I mean, Sam Howell's played a lot better the second half of this year and has had some up and downs, but has been on the up lately. And against Miami, whose defense isn't great and their offense is subpar at best. I mean, D'Eriq King is streaky when even playing at home. He was really good last year playing at home, but this year it's like you have 1 week, oh, it's a home game, cool, we'll get D'Eriq King of last year. Nope, he throws like 3 picks, and then or he'll play on the road and we'll be like, oh no, here we go again, another 4-5 pick game, and then he'll go off for like 3-4 touchdowns. It's just
Are you as out of it as I am? D'Eriq King is his first year at Miami.
Oh no, I'm thinking of
in.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the guy who was there last year.
Who was the guy last year? I'll look it up.
And you can go on. But again, just having that mentality that D'Eriq King, it seems like this year is dragged on. I think that's probably what I'm thinking of. I mean, he's been streaky this year.
Yeah,
that's the main point. But
yeah,
and then sorry. Do you want any thoughts on that? Or
I mean, I do. I'm looking up this who the quarterback was last year. See if I can find it.
While Justin's doing that, though, let's talk about this number 9 Georgia at number 25 Missouri. I mean, you talked about it. We haven't watched them.
How is Georgia still ranked 9th? I don't know.
I don't know.
That's one of the biggest. That was one of the things I saw at the AP or the college football playoff poll. I was like, why are they number 9? Who's behind them? I mean, technically Miami could replace them. I would say Oklahoma could.
Yeah, Oklahoma definitely could replace them.
Yeah,
Indiana could replace them. I mean, any of those top teams that isn't number 14 Northwestern could replace them. Even Coastal could replace them.
Yeah, I view Georgia as one of the top tier programs.
But not this year.
Yeah, it's just not this year. I mean, they've just. I mean, it comes back.
You don't start JT Daniels for like 3 weeks, and everyone's like, "Why aren't you starting JT Daniels?" And then all of a sudden, it's like, "What's going on?"
Well, and if you look at it, kind of on the bigger picture, I mean, had JT Daniels started, I mean, even after the first 3 games. Well, when was the Alabama game? Was that week 2 or week 3? I think that was week 3.
Week 3, yeah.
Yeah, if he would, I guess it would. If he would have played from week 2 on, we would be talking very differently about Georgia right now.
Dude, they probably could have beaten Alabama.
They could have beaten Alabama, and
they would have had a lot better chance to beat Alabama.
And I mean, I don't know if they beat Florida, but it's a lot closer. And
yeah.
So this coaching blunder will go down is like, unless something comes out.
I think it's going to cost him his job, to be honest. I really do. I know it's a saying a lot, but again, we talked about it when JT Daniels was first starting and he was actually announced to start. It's like something's going to come out after this year. Either he was really badly hurt and they covered it up, or there was a disagreement between JT Daniels and that coach and a coach that shall not be named, but we all probably can guess who it is, take an educated guess at the same time.
Kirby Smart. You're talking about?
Yeah.
It's a public name. It's not like we're under wraps here, but
I'm saying like a lot of people, again, there's something going on in that program for JT Daniels not to have started sooner.
I agree. I don't know if it'll cost him his job, but to me, I think talent-wise, Georgia is one of the top 6, 7 teams in the country with JT Daniels. But
Yes.
without JT Daniels, I think they're lucky to be at 9 where they are because, I mean, they've missed. God, Stern just commented, it got me off my thought.
What did Stan call?
He said Ian Book for Heisman. Thanks, Ryan. Sorry, he's not.
No, it's Kyle Trask for Heisman. Let's get it right
No,
now.
it's not Kyle Trask for Heisman either. I put
What?
all my wagons behind the Justin Fields Heisman now.
Okay.
I don't think he's gonna win. I think Trask will win it. I do, but we'll get
Yeah.
into that. I guess we can add that in, even though I didn't have it today. We can do a little Heisman talk for sure. Um, I don't know what I was saying, but yeah, Georgia. I mean, like I said, they're just lucky to be there right now, and they're lucky to be as high as they are right now because their coach made a boneheaded mistake, and he did the same thing with Justin Fields. Like Justin Fields
And
left
Justin
Georgia.
Fields left.
Yeah, I mean, Jake Fromm had a good. His freshman year was really good at Georgia. They went to the national championship game after they beat Oklahoma, and then since then, his sophomore year he was not good, and then his junior year he was really not good, and he didn't implement Fields at all. So I don't know what his thing is with quarterbacks and not being able to see talent, but it's mind blowing to me that a Division I college coach of that repertoire can look at JT Daniels and
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields, but I'm going to JT Daniels and Stetson Bennett and
God.
not clearly see that JT Fields is a much better player than Stetson Bennett.
Even if he's a freshman. Even if he's a freshman on the field, it makes more sense to have that type of talent, especially coming out. He was a top 5 recruit, if not he was the number 1 recruit coming out of California, but I believe in the class he was top 5, wasn't he?
Who?
JT Daniels.
Yeah.
Exactly. How do you not, after he decides to leave USC to come to you guys? How do you not give the kid a chance?
I don't know. It's very weird to me. I'm looking up the recruiting thing. Hold on.
Again, I think something will come out at the end of the year. But while Justin looks up the recruiting stuff, we'll go on. I mean, we'll kind of skip over Alabama, Arkansas. I mean, we kind of all know how that's going to go.
Yeah, I'll talk about it later. Yeah, he was a 5-star recruit and ranked as the number 1 overall recruit in this class by Rivals.
Really? Okay. Oh, by Rivals though.
All yeah, right. Rivals sucks. I usually use 247 or ESPN, but
it was 2 years ago, right?
2018. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just mind blowing to me that he could miss that. But yeah, we'll head on to what you were talking about in the Alabama game. It's almost like Groundhog Day for us when we talk about Alabama because it's the same exact thing every week. Like I want to go into the week thinking that Arkansas might put up a decent fight, but they won't. They'll score like 7 first half points, and Alabama will win like 64-3. And so it's become a burden just to talk about Alabama.
Wow, I'm sorry. I just looked up the 2018 recruiting thing. Justin Fields was the number 1 in 2018. Guess what they have him listed as his second position on ESPN?
Tight end.
No, worse.
Offensive tackle?
D tackle.
Jesus Christ.
Hey. 6'3", 221. I'm just saying, man.
Hey, he might be a sneaky good defensive tackle, just like that skinny guy can see in between the linemen. I think they do those randomly. Because there's no. He didn't even play defensive tackle in high school. There's no way his high school coach.
Oh wow, I was completely off. JT Daniels was number 64 in the class.
See, Rivals had him
for 2018.
Yeah, Rivals had him at number 1. Shows you how.
Let me give you the top 5 for that year. I mean, the class we have number 1, Justin Fields. Number 2, Trevor Lawrence. Number 3, Iyabi Anoma, who is at Alabama. 6'6", DN. God, what are they feeding that boy? Number 4 was Xavier Thomas. Number 5 was Patrick Surtain.
Isn't that Breece's class, or was Breece a year earlier, or a year after?
The year after. Breece was a year after.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that's crazy that they have Justin Fields listed as also a tight end, DN.
that is odd, but I mean that also shows you the parity of our different recruiting platforms, because they clearly are not consensusly picked or anything like that. Because for him to be 64 in what did you use, Scout or ESPN?
ESPN.
Yeah, 64th in ESPN and number 1 in Rivals. I think we're going to cut out Rivals from now on.
Yeah,
we're not going to get our recruiting info from Rivals from now on. But yeah, the Georgia game. I mean,
I think that could be the most entertaining game of the week.
We talked about it before. I don't know anything about Missouri.
No, but the fact that they're here and they're barely in the top 25, but they're in the top 25. Even though I feel like no one's really talked about them this year, but clearly people have been since they're in the top 25. But I think this could be a really good, entertaining game between Georgia and Missouri. I think Missouri could pull off the upset.
Yeah, it's in I don't know where Mizzou plays. It's in Missouri though. Yeah, they could pull off the upset. I could see that. But like I said, they've been playing better with JT Daniels. But like the thing that goes back to me is, after Kirby Smart didn't play JT Daniels, how much does he trust JT Daniels? Because I can't believe it's a lot.
True.
I can't believe it's a lot because I just lost my train of thought. So I don't know where I was going with that one. But yeah, I mean, Missouri's all right. They beat LSU. Oh, yeah, I was going back to JT Daniels being trusted by Kirby Smart. I don't think Kirby Smart trusts JT Daniels. JT Daniels is a good enough quarterback where you can kind of not let him loose, but let him kind of loose and just run the offense. And I don't think Kirby Smart gives him any trust or gives him any leeway. So I could see Missouri pulling off the upset here. I'm looking at their stats. Their quarterback is Connor Bazelak. He's thrown for 2,002 yards, 69.4 completion percentage. He's only thrown for 5 touchdowns. How many games have they played?
They played 8 games. So there had to have been a thing there. Like there had to have been a QB change.
Yeah, no, I'm not seeing one, because their next best passer was Sean Robinson, who was 20 of 29.
Damn, who's their running back then?
He's making pretty. Yeah, I guess I don't. Maybe the best player we haven't talked about yet. Larry Roundtree without the D. Roundtree. He's rushed the ball 170 times for 835 yards. That's a lower average, but it's still around 5, and he has 11 touchdowns. So,
I mean, they held it close with Alabama. Alabama still won, but they scored 19 points on Bama. That's saying something.
Yeah, and their receivers are really, really balanced. They
beat LSU. So.
Yeah, they have 3 receivers over 300 yards this year, and then 1 with 280, and 1 with 249, and 1 with 206. And obviously they're not scoring touchdowns because they're not throwing them. But
they scored 50 points last week against Arkansas and 41 the week before. So they're scoring somehow. Where is the scoring coming from here? Hold up. How is there? This just doesn't make any sense.
It's got to be.
It's got to be the right. Oh, Larry Round. Yeah, Larry Round.
Yeah,
the third.
Yeah.
It's the run game. That's it, bro. That's literally.
I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing against Georgia, but
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So I think I think one of my locks is Georgia, or picks is Georgia.
How many? No, that can't be right. Don't tell me he has 3 rushing TDs in 3 straight weeks. I think he does. Oh no, he threw one. Gee, the last 2 weeks he's had 3. Larry Roundtree has had 3 rushing touchdowns in the past 2 weeks. That's crazy. But that's it. That's their entire offense is that one dude. That's who scored.
Why did you ask me? Are we still on Truth and Lies?
Because the banner's still up.
Oh, just say the banner's still up. You got me nervous. You got me like freaking out. I was like, do I sound stupid? What's going on? Yeah, no, but
no.
no, that's good. That's good.
You heard it here first. Larry Roundtree is my first person to watch this weekend against Georgia.
I have 3 guys in my players to watch that have all been there before as well. So we clearly picked the best players to watch.
Yeah.
But with that, I don't, like I said, I don't really know what to make of the game. Missouri could win at home, but I'd have to look at the line. I don't know if I have it up here, but yeah, I think they'll cover as long as it's at least like 15 points, 16 points. But so that's a good like value play if you want to take them outright. That could be a good value play. But we're still talking college football, not gambling, Justin. We talked about Alabama, Arkansas a little bit.
I skipped over Iowa at Wisconsin could be a good game too.
Yeah, I didn't know Wisconsin was ranked 16th until right now. But yeah, I don't know much about Iowa either. I know they've beaten most of the teams they played in the Big Ten. But if you got anything on them, go ahead.
I don't. I mean, I've kept a little bit kind of on the back burner because I didn't know how they're only a 2-loss team surprisingly, but they played more games in the Big Ten. They're one of the teams that's played 7 games. Surprisingly, given that most of the teams in the Big Ten have either canceled a game or.
Oh, you'll never guess this. Guess what position their leading receiver it is.
The what? You cut out.
Guess what position holds the which position has the leading receiving yards for Iowa?
For Iowa?
Yeah, what position? What's the only other position that catches balls that can't be a wide receiver?
A running back?
He plays on the line with you.
Oh, a tight end.
Yeah. Oh. You know, Iowa's like a tight end factory. They had 2 first-round picks last year, tight ends.
I know, T.J. Hawkinson and
Ooh. Do you know the other one?
Yeah. I just it's the names escape. It was T.J. Hawkinson and because I wanted the Patriots to draft him. I forget.
Noah Fant.
Noah Fant.
Yeah, so yeah, he leads them with just Iowa numbers and receiving, of course. Mm-hmm. I mean, 260 yards. Yeah. So that's how Iowa plays. But their running back Tyler Goodson, it does have 656 yards on 132 carries. He has 6 touchdowns. And then I guess they go pretty much a 2-back backfield for the most part, with Goodson getting most of the carries. But Micah Sargent is also another guy that gets a decent amount of carries. He's carried the ball 63 times for 381 yards for an average of 6 yards per rush and 7 touchdowns. So I would assume he's there more of the big play threat for Iowa in the backfield. But yeah, I still think
it's a good game to watch.
Yeah, I still think it's going to be an ugly game. I mean, it's going to be like 21-17. But yeah, I think. What?
It's going to be entertaining.
Yeah,
I think one of the more entertaining games. It's not going to be like Bama versus Arkansas, where it's just one side of the beat.
Yeah, I still think Wisconsin's good enough to beat Iowa.
We'll see.
I don't know what's happened to them in the past week and a half, 2 weeks. I don't know, but yeah, I like Iowa in that game. But like we said, we'll read off our picks and our locks, assuming you have yours.
I do not, but I can probably make them up on the spot.
Yeah, they're not that hard. There's literally like 6 games this week.
Yeah.
Um,
But we'll kind of go through the rest. For the team, we knew they were going to take a step back this year after losing so many players, but they've really taken a step back, and Florida's just on another level. Their defense is starting to ramp up, starting to get more consistent and holding teams. And Kyle Trask and Kyle Pitts can't be stopped. Kyle Pitts came back last week and just really kept in stride with where he was before he got injured by Louis Sign in an absolutely attempted murder charge almost there.
Oh, really?
Did you see the hit?
No, but is this your new Zach Robinson or Zach Wilson because you can't cheer for him anymore? So now you're
Zach Wilson. You have BYU versus at San Diego State at BYU. I'm getting there.
I'm just saying, is Kyle Pitts now your favorite person? Is he overtaken Zach Wilson?
Well, no. Kyle Pitts was always above Zach Wilson just because he's a tight end.
Even for your fandom?
Yes, even for my fandom.
Okay. Well, yeah, no.
To be honest, I know I talked a lot about Zach Wilson, but I still think Kyle Trask was a better quarterback than Zach Wilson.
I was talking about Kyle Pitts.
No, I know, but I'm saying like Kyle Trask was also.
I don't know if Kyle Trask is a better college quarterback. Kyle Trask will be a much better pro, I would say. And I wouldn't even say that. He's a safer pick.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has been tearing it up. I would say, as of right now, if the award were given tonight, I think it would be Kyle Trask's to lose the Heisman. Because go ahead.
I was going to say, if he goes in and beats Alabama in the SEC championship game, that I think gives him the lock for the Heisman. If he goes up, throws 4 touchdowns, almost a perfect. Say he misses like maybe at most 10 passes and doesn't throw a pick. I say that's his Heisman right there.
Yeah, and LSU is not very good this year. We know that. But like I said, Kyle Trask is having a great year, and if not only just he's the Heisman favorite in my opinion, if not only because everyone else has just fallen off the wayside. You don't hear about Trevor Lawrence anymore, even though he should be one of the finalists and have a stake in the award.
No, sorry, go ahead. No, finish it, and then I'll
I think Justin Fields has played his way out, especially with them not playing Michigan this year, and then the Big Ten championship game being versus Wisconsin or Iowa or Northwestern. So I think he's played his way out. And Zach Wilson with the loss last week, I just don't think he was more of a Cinderella story than anything, and the slipper doesn't fit anymore. So
yeah, what I'm gonna say is I think that comment that you made that Trevor Lawrence has fallen out is the reason he'll return next year to Clemson. I think this he hasn't officially said it, but I think people who are close in that organization at Clemson and his family know he's returning because he's going to return with a vengeance and he's going to want another national championship if he doesn't win this year. He's going to want the Heisman. I think that's the biggest thing right there. I think this man will return next year better than ever and be on an absolute tear, like a Tom Brady and the revenge tour type tear.
So you're saying this about Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, that he'll return next year because of that comment that you just made, and people think he's not as good as everyone thought he was. Like, if he still goes to the draft, he'll still be the number 1 overall pick. But at the same time, I feel like it's a thing about pride for him, and that he'll come back and want to win. If he doesn't win a national, I say if he wins a national championship, then he'll take a back seat on the Heisman. But if he doesn't win the Heisman and doesn't win a national championship, he will be back. I 100% believe that. I will bet my entire life savings on that he'll be back. If they lose both, I'm saying if he doesn't win the Heisman and he doesn't win a national championship,
I think winning the Heisman has like a lower ranking than not lower ranking, but has more of a less of a probability than them winning the championship. And the only thing I'll say about that is Trevor Lawrence. We know him. He's kind of a religious guy. He's very down to earth and everything. I just don't know if that guy would come back to college just for a Heisman.
No,
Like,
but I didn't say he'd come back just for Heisman. I'm saying it's highly likely that but him losing another national losing a national championship this year, I say is the nail in the coffin that he comes back. I'm not saying if he does, and I said that. I said if he wins a national championship, he'll still go on. But he loses both the Heisman and the national championship, he's coming back. 100% will come back. And I'm not saying for the Heisman, but for the national championship.
Yeah, I'm not going to completely agree with you, but I'm not going to completely not agree with you. I mean, I still think it'd be a pretty big long shot for him to come back. And unless he really doesn't want to go, I mean, if really deep down he's having people telling him on the inside not to go to the Jets, then I could see that. Although I could see Fields during workouts and things like that, maybe not over. No one will ever surpass Lawrence. And I mean, no matter when he comes out, he's going to go number one. Mm-hmm. So unless he hurts himself, so I just don't know if he's willing to risk all that to just come back to Clemson.
Well, another real possibility is he pulls an Eli Manning. He says, "You know what? Fine, you want to draft me number one overall, but I'm not signing a contract."
I could, but then again, he doesn't strike me.
It's uncharacteristic of him, but I'm saying it's another very long shot possibility.
Yeah. I mean,
like his parents could be like, because you know how parents can get. They care about their kids a lot, and if you look at that Jets team, holy crap, he will be like RG3 in his second year with the Redskins. He's going to be playing out there with really a JV offensive line in the NFL, having to go against some of these the top end guys, having to go up against TJ Watt twice a year. I mean, that's a tough task to ask for a kid who's coming out that has a whole future ahead of him, because it's basically going to put him you're putting him in a snake pit as a baby, basically.
Yeah,
it's a bad analogy, but in a bad kind of situation. But again, it's a terrible. You're putting a really good player in a dog town, basically. And you're just waiting. You're just holding him out as bait, just being like, "Oh, here you go. We're gonna let you go," and then he's gone because he's eaten alive.
One correction: TJ Watt plays in the AFC North, so he wouldn't play him every year.
But he does. He wouldn't play him every year, but I thought they played him still twice a year.
The Jets are in the AFC East.
I know that, but
so they don't.
Well, that's another conversation for another time. We're going to move on here.
I'll finish up with my Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Usually for like these kind of cases, I sort of have a feel, not like it's anything special, but I have a certain like feel like if they're going to go pro or if they're going to stay. I am doggone. I have absolutely no idea what Trevor Lawrence is going to do. I don't.
Yeah.
Like I could. Other guys, I mean, I think Fields will go. If Zach Wilson doesn't go, he's a stupid idiot. And then Trask will go because he's a senior. But yeah, I have no feel for.
If Trevor Lawrence decides to go this year and Zach Wilson goes back and just absolutely dominates next year, then you could say it's maybe the best decision he's ever made. Just saying. It's a possibility, but I think he'd be dumb not to go this year.
Hold on, I'm looking up his age. Yeah, it wouldn't be terrible, except he is already 20. He is already 21, and so he'd be coming out when he's either 23 or 22. And I know a lot of NFL teams don't like that. So, but I don't necessarily mind it, considering that your best quarterback year should realistically be 24 to 27, 28. Sorry, hiccups. But yeah, Zach. I just don't think Zach Wilson's going to come back at all. I think it would be very, very silly for him to come back.
I don't think he will either, but it's a very long shot possibility.
Yeah. Okay. And with that, we'll get into the last game, or not? Is it the last game? No, it's second last game. We'll make it the last game. We'll talk about Illinois and Northwestern first, because we know everything there is to know about Illinois. I know nothing about Illinois.
I don't know either.
Considering Ohio State didn't play them, so I've never had a chance to watch them. I have no idea.
I think the biggest thing to take away from this game is how is Northwestern still ranked 14th after last week's loss?
I don't know. I was shocked that they were.
I mean, I thought they would. I thought they would have dropped at least maybe 1 or 2 spots, but to stay in the same space, like against Michigan State, it just goes to show that why does BYU drop 6 after they faced a team that was top 15, but Northwestern's a 2-loss team, and it's like.
No, I totally agree with that. I don't know how Northwestern skated. I honestly think they skated this week just because everyone was so much on BYU and like ranking BYU differently this week. But yeah, I totally agree. I have no idea why Northwestern is still at 14. I think it shows a little bit of the committee's bias that they want Big Ten and SEC teams and top tier programs. So that's what it is to me. I think this will be is hopefully a good matchup as Iowa and Wisconsin will be. This will be the exact opposite.
This is going to be a bad matchup.
Yeah, this is going to be a 17-12 game, somewhere around there, with Northwestern somehow pulling out a win. I will be very disappointed if Northwestern goes to the Big Ten championship. Not because I think Ohio State would crush them. I do, but just because, I mean, they don't really deserve it. They beat Wisconsin on a bad week.
Yeah, they don't. They really don't.
So that's all I pretty much have to say about that. And like I said, I don't know anything about Illinois. I know Lovie Smith is still their coach. What the hell is that guy still doing there?
Yeah, no. But let's kind of move on. We kind of spent enough. We kind of went on a rant there about Trevor Lawrence and everything. But
you think that's a rant?
No,
why don't you go to your next game and I'll give you a rant.
What, BYU at did San Diego State at BYU?
BYU is a fraud. I forgot we didn't get to do it Tuesday, so I can't make fun of you.
Yeah.
No, all in all, that I wouldn't say that Coastal Carolina is better than BYU. I think they're about the same.
I agree with that.
And I think what turned the pendulum really, which like sometimes you see in college football, even if there's no fans, was playing at home. I mean, BYU had to travel from Utah. And it's good they did because they scheduled a game and they did everything that the committee and what everyone wanted to do and schedule a big game. But people also have to remember they traveled from Utah on I think they traveled on a Wednesday and didn't get there till Thursday. So they really had one day to do walkthroughs. And that's about it. So what?
I mean, that's a coast to coast thing almost.
Yeah,
that's a huge. You need like 2 to 3 days to acclimate before you really set to play a game.
Yeah,
and they had it really on like a day. So I don't blame them entirely. I mean, I think they should have played better, but again, they did everything the committee asked them to do, and they still dropped 6 spots. I mean, it was a competitive game. They missed some of their chances there. Zach Wilson kind of had an off day, but at the same time, they were still in a position to win at the end. And they would again, a yard. We talked about it before going live. It reminded, people look back to the Super Bowl in 1999 or 2000 with the Rams and getting stopped by Tennessee on the 1 yard line.
Other way around.
Oh, Tennessee got stopped by the Rams on the 1 yard line.
It's okay. You weren't born yet. Don't worry. But I couldn't agree with you more. I have no idea why going back to Northwestern, BYU and Coastal Carolina should both be ahead of Northwestern. I think you probably have, in a dream scenario, you probably have Coastal ranked like 14, and then you had BYU 16. I mean, because there clearly wasn't that big of a difference between the two teams.
But also, okay, first off, how is BYU number 18 and you have you have Iowa State at number 7, who is a 2-loss team? And I understand strength of schedule and everything, but still a 2-loss team.
Yeah, no, I mean it's the committee bias. Mark my words. I mean, the committee's worst nightmare would be allowing a Cincinnati or BYU into the playoff this year, because then next year all they're going to hear about is how last year they let a non-Power 5 team in and how they should keep doing it, depending on how well they do. Or, I mean, it could be perfect for the NCAA this year. They could just put BYU or Coastal in, and they would get crushed by Alabama. So we would have the end of that argument.
Yeah,
But
we have the other end of that.
yeah, it's a little bit of a committee bias, I think. So, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
BYU
Let's
still
get
fraud.
into our locks and picks from last week. Justin, do you want to state the records?
Yes, the records. Looking down at our big board last week, I don't know what I was, but
On the outline it says you were 2-2 on your locks.
yeah, I didn't. Oh, and I have picks too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was 2-3, which I don't know how that makes me 14-11, but I'll work on that later. So yeah, last year my locks I was 2-3, for a score or a record of 11-11 on the season. Once again, I think that's wrong, so I will check it. In my locks, I was 2-2 last week. I must not have added this week's to my board yet, or the last week's to my board yet. That's what it is. But my locks, I was 2-2. So my locks record is 14-10, and my picks record is 12-13. So, and then for you,
I had a bad week for picks.
yeah, you had a bad week for picks, but you didn't really have that bad of a week in locks. I mean, you only guessed 3, so and two of them were on one game, right?
Yeah.
Which one was that? The BYU game, or I feel like it was a different game.
I think it was a different game.
Yeah, but yeah, you were 1-2, making you 13-9, still basically the same as me. I think like percentage wise, you're still better, but now that was your locks, 1-2, and then your picks you were 1-4, bringing you to a total of 12-13 on the year. So basically, we're the same in locks, and in picks we're just kind of the same for the most part. And then in trivia, because we haven't had to do it in a while, I'm 9-7, catching up to you, Jake, who is 10-6.
Yeah, because I went 4-0 last week, or 3-0, 3-0. Sorry.
I still have to look up my picks. So with that, you want to go over your locks and picks for this week?
Yeah. So my first pick this week is going to be the same as yours. I have +3 for North Carolina. In the Florida, is it Florida still? Do you have them -23 or -17? Because I'm looking at two different sites and it says that they're.
I got which one are you talking about?
The Florida game versus LSU.
I could have sworn I saw a. I have it up. Hold on.
No worries.
Florida is favored by 23.5.
Okay, 23.5.
Yeah.
I take the -23.5 in that game. So do you want to write these down?
Yeah, I'm writing down. Yep.
Okay, so first one is +3 the North Carolina. Second,
I'm caught up. Go ahead.
oh, okay. My third would have to be BYU -17. I think it actually lowered the 14 though.
No, I got it at 17. But if you found it at 14, go ahead and take it.
It's 16. MGM has them at -16.5.
All right, we'll do 16.5 then.
Okay, and then so that's 3, right? And we don't have any. None of the other games are. I'll also take Florida. Oh no, that's next week. I think that's pretty much. How many do I have? I have 4, right?
You have 3, and then do you just want to do the 3 and then go to your locks?
No, I will choose the last one. The last 2 I'll choose. I'll take the under in the Florida LSU game. which is I have it at 68.5, I believe.
Okay, I believe you.
And then I will have the. You know what? I'm gonna take the Georgia Missouri game. I'll take the under of 54.5 for that game.
It's a great pick.
I mean, I just think that's going to be a really dogfight, low-scoring game.
I have the same pick. It's one of my. You want to do your locks?
Yep. So my lock is going to be the. I'm going to take the lock of the. Where is it? I just saw it. Sorry, I'm on the betting site trying to look for it.
You could just go. You could just go to ESPN and the scores. They have the lines there.
Oh well. Hold on.
And the over-unders.
Hold on, folks. Let me pull up the schedule real quick. Hope everyone's having a good night. I'll also give us a quick score update if we have any. Hold on a second. My computer's slow. So wow, North Texas is now up 38-28 and going into the 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Arizona State's still beating Arizona 42-7 now. But we are looking for my locks of the week, so we will get into that right now. So we have
Arizona State's up 42-7.
Yeah, I said 42-7.
Okay. Well, I know. Yeah, I just didn't hear it real quick.
No worries. So what I'm going to take, and I'm trying to look for the stats here, is I will take the my first lock will be BYU minus 17. I'll also take the Georgia versus Missouri under as a lock because I feel like that's going to be a good game, and then a good game for the under, and then the over under. What's the over? I'm looking at the ESPN schedule and it doesn't show me the over unders for it, so I don't know what's wrong with my.
I just moved off it, but it's like. Here, let me pull it up real quick. It's like
there's a specific thing that says lines.
Lines, and it's got over under. It's like in the like the matchup, and then it's over to the right side of it.
Yeah, I see it. I'm gonna take the under in the Alabama versus Arkansas game of 68.5, and then so I have 3 there, correct? I just want to make sure.
Alabama, Arkansas. Under what?
The under for according to ESPN is 68.5.
68 or 60?
68.5
for Alabama, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Okay, then I got you Georgia, Missouri under 54.5, and then BYU minus 17. You want any more?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the. I don't want to take that one. That just seems too low. I'm gonna take Texas A&M minus 15.5.
Who are they playing?
Ole Miss.
Hold on.
The line for that game is the over under 72.5, but I don't want to touch that. I'll take the 15.5 though.
I think that's canceled.
It is?
I believe so. I'm looking real quick. There have been, honestly, when I say there are only
it's postponed.
Yeah, I would say, honestly, like I said, there was only six games, but there's really only 8 games this week. So do you want to?
I'll just stick with the 4 then.
You got 3. BYU minus 17. Georgia, Missouri.
I'll take UNC plus 3 then.
Good call.
I mean, that's just that. I don't know how Miami's favored in that game.
All right, and then for my picks and locks, like I said, I will update the big board either tonight or tomorrow morning. And as always, we'll be hopefully tweeting some highlights and scores, and then
hopefully Justin will keep me updated while I'm working.
It's unlikely. I've drafted a great Madden team, so no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so we'll try and keep everyone updated. It is a weird week. Like I said, there's only about 6 games, and I think 4 of them are scheduled at noon. So, yeah, so we'll keep everyone updated. Okay, my picks this week are you were good. North Carolina +3, Wisconsin -2, Northwestern -14. I also took BYU -17. That seems like easy money, especially after a loss. They're pissed. And then I took Missouri +13.5. And then my locks. I also took North Carolina +3. So I took BYU -16.5 as well for my picks and my locks. I just changed it to 16.5. Alabama -32. It's only because I keep betting against Alabama and they always cover the spread. So it's.
I'm gonna watch it this 1 week.
I know. As soon as I was writing that down, I was like, "This is the 1 week they're going to score like 47 points." But yeah, Alabama was -32. Georgia, Missouri under 54.5, and the Wisconsin, Iowa over 41.5. Like I said, it'll be an ugly game, but Wisconsin should be able to produce at least half of that 41. So if if Iowa can just get on the board, that would really help me out. So but with that, we're gonna go to our players to watch, and I think I have that one, but you can go ahead and start.
So my first player to watch is going to be Mr. Kyle Pitts going up against a still beating up LSU secondary, but they still have pretty good linebackers there. Even though their top one did opt out last week or the week before, like going into the week last week. I just think he's going to have another monster game and just going to solidify himself as a first rounder because he's kind of on the cusp right now. My second one, we talked about him earlier. What?
He's really on the cusp?
Yeah, because of how like most teams are starting to need offensive linemen in the NFL. So a lot of the offensive linemen have been pushing up. He was projected to drop to say the maybe 30th pick if he was lucky, but he's been moving up. That was just going in the last week. I haven't looked at the draft report on him for this week after last week's games.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that he's not a lock.
I was surprised too, but it was one of the ESPN guys that wrote about him saying he didn't think Kyle Pitts was a solid pick after he got hurt, because he did look kind of shaky when he came back, but he still performed well. So
yeah, I mean, dude came back from a concussion.
Yeah, I know, but again, someone must know something. My second player to watch is the man out of Missouri that no one's talking about, including us, Mr. Larry Roundtree III. Back-to-back weeks with 3 touchdown games, over almost 200 yards in both games, over 150 yards rushing in both. So I think he's going to have a great game this week, hopefully.
Sorry.
And my other one is also along the lines of what you have. Sam Howell against Miami has really been up on the up and up these last couple weeks, and look to see him take advantage of a really kind of shocking number 10 Miami team that has no right to be at number 10.
All right, so you like Kyle Pitts? Who else? Sorry, I was trying to find an NFL mock draft.
Kyle Pitts, Sam Howell, and then
the Roundtree guy.
Roundtree. Larry Roundtree the third.
All right. And I added a new segment. Instead of doing the coach's hot seat, we're going to go over the latest mock draft from CBS.
Okay.
That's because I feel like it's more of a little bit of an issue. So Roundtree plays for who does he play for?
He played Missouri.
I knew it was one of our big games. All right, so
you're talking about the mock draft from Ryan Wilson, CBS, and Chris Trapasso? Those two?
I just searched mock draft. Let's see what it is. It's CBS's, so it's Josh Edwards. You can just search. You can just search NFL mock draft. Josh Edwards or CBS, and it should come up because CBS has their own ticker on top for all their writers that do mock drafts. So Josh Edwards should be on there. But back to college before we hop into some maybe a 1 minute debate and some NFL draft talk. My three players to watch: Desmond Ritter, the quarterback, Cincinnati. He's been under the radar this year, but he's had a really great year. And if Cincinnati wants to go into Tulsa and beat them, he's going to have not a perfect game, but a pretty damn good game. Tulsa's a tough team, and going to Tulsa is tough for Cincinnati because I believe it's switching 2 time zones. And like I said, Tulsa's a tough team, so he'll need to play well for them. It would suck for Cincinnati to come. Are you playing something?
No, it's the website that I pulled up. It's playing like a music thing.
Yeah, the CBS one, so did mine.
I'm trying to fix it. It's playing a music thing.
You're good. So yeah, Ritter needs to have a really big game. It would suck for Cincinnati to come all this way undefeated and not finish undefeated. I don't know if they'll finish undefeated because I don't know who they'll play in their bowl game. But
sorry about that, folks. Sorry.
You're good.
I don't know why there was playing. It was playing an ad that had volume. So
yeah, mine was too when I opened the CBS page. My second one is Sam Howell, quarterback also from North Carolina. He's thrown the ball 288 times for 200, completed 205 of them for 26 touchdowns. Miami's no walkover by any means, but they're not Notre Dame or even a Georgia or an Iowa State. But either way, the only way North Carolina seems to win these days is by scoring. We saw that in the Wake Forest game, which was basically, an arcade game, some NFL hits. So yeah, he'll need to play well. I'm talking maybe 5 touchdowns for him because they're going to keep it in the air versus Miami, and they're going to try and keep Miami's and their ground game should be pretty potent because they're going to try and keep Derek King off the field. Derek King, who is also, I guess, a second-year quarterback in Miami, didn't know. The guy you're thinking of is Nkosi something.
Okay.
But and my third player to watch is Tyler Goodson, the running back from Iowa. He's had a pretty solid year. He rushed the ball 132 times for 656 yards and 6 touchdowns. And Northwestern was able to move the ball on Wisconsin's defense. So with that being said, there's no reason the Hawkeyes ground game can't succeed as well versus the Badgers. Like I said, this isn't Wisconsin defense of last year where they were top 10 in the country for everything. They're still pretty solid under D coordinator Jim Leonard, but they definitely take a step back this year. And Tyler Goodson need to have a good game for Iowa to beat Wisconsin. And then I don't know. Do we want to do 1 minute debate?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so we're gonna do 1 minute debate. I'm just going to let you pick if you go first or second because my coin has.
Wait. I have a coin. I have a coin here. I'll take a coin.
I don't know if I trust you.
I'll do it. It's right here.
Okay. I see
I'll
it.
hold it up to the camera too. You'll see it before I do, okay?
I'm just kidding. Tails.
All right. I'm going to open. The side that's facing out is what it's going to be. What is it?
Tails, I think. Heads, maybe?
Tails. No, it's tails. This was the part that was in, so it is tails.
And
so
what are you trying to do? You're trying to do some NFL shit to me where you make the coin like you always see it. They make the coin like 2-sided. Like one side is this team.
No, so this is the heads, and then it landed on the backside, which means it's tails. So it's tails. So
let's just say you will not be flipping the coin anymore.
What?
Okay,
I'm trying to show you because you accused me of cheating. So
I didn't accuse you. I speculated.
So
for 1 minute debate this week, we are debating not necessarily who's more powerful, but the better superhero, Batman or Superman. And since I won, I'm going to go first, and I'm going to say this isn't even close. The best superhero is Batman. And it's not even close because Batman he's rich. He gets to use all his gadgets. He really doesn't have any real power except he's super strong. And and he gets to fly the Batwing, drive the Batmobile, and then the best part is when he doesn't want to be Batman, he's just a normal guy that has a lot of money. He's Christian Bale with a lot of money. He's a playboy. I mean,
To be honest, we should have done Batman versus Iron Man. I feel like that's a better debate than Batman versus Superman.
Well, go for Superman for me, buddy.
All right. Well, Superman here. I mean, you can't argue with Superman. He's only got one weakness. It's kryptonite, and it's like non-existent. Otherwise, he's just unstoppable. He's super strong, super fast. He's got good morals. He's got the looks. He can lift a ton. He's just, and he watches out for entire humanity. What does Batman do? Watch after one city, and can be shot with a bullet in the head, and you're gonna die. I mean, come on now. Plus, Batman kills somebody. Like Superman's never killed anybody. Let's put it that way.
Who's Batman killed?
The Joker.
Is it in one of the comics?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then you win, I guess. Hey, but I'm all for killing bad guys. All they do is escape from prison, anyways.
But the whole point of Batman is he doesn't kill anyone. Like
you're also drawing the conclusion from one of those Batman comics that are like 75 of that all have a different story arc.
Not true, but okay.
Yes. So we'll leave that one. You made a good argument. You made a good argument. But the only issue with Superman is he can't just be a normal guy. He can't just sit.
Man. He works at the Daily Planet. Come on now.
He can't just sit down with
He's a photographer. He has a regular job. He puts on the glasses. He turns invisible. No one recognizes him. It's the world's stupidest thing, but dude, come on. Everyone can make a connection that Batman is got to be a rich guy. There's no doubt about it.
But then on Saturdays when he sits down and watches college football, he'll have all his honeys with him. Who does Superman have? Lois Lane?
Lois Lane, my guy.
Get out of here. With that, I think you pulled up the right mock draft, correct?
I believe so, yes.
I still have the coach on the hot seat.
It was posted on the 10th, correct? At 8:46 a.m. Eastern time?
Yeah. So, So looking at the mock draft, you see Trevor Lawrence going first to the Giants.
Right. Folks wondering, this is the most recent mock draft, so it does take into account last week's games. It's not just a mock draft that's happened a couple weeks ago. So
yeah, Justin Fields goes second to Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville is going to have a lot harder time taking Justin Fields because they're a stupid organization, and they might want to take Trey Lance. But that's a good spot for him.
Hey, Gardner Minshew, they trust, man.
Like I said, if I wasn't New York in this top 5 at least, not in the top 5. If the earliest I'm taking a quarterback is obviously the Jets at 1. Then after that, the earliest I'm taking a quarterback is 6th for the Eagles because I think
debatable. That's debatable. I think 5 because of Dak Prescott's contract year. They don't know what they're going to do. They haven't re-signed him. They haven't, and he's hurt. So that could very well be a spot that Dallas chooses a quarterback of the future. And hey, man, you never know. The boy from BYU, Mr. Zach Wilson, and his Christian values might be going there.
Yeah, Jerry Jones is definitely – he loves just good things. So then third, I think this is the best pick in the draft. I don't know about you. I think if this turns out this way for Cincinnati, they get their star quarterback of the future last year in Joe Burrow, and then they do what most teams aren't able to do, and they put a left tackle with him with Penei Sewell.
Yeah, I mean you got to protect, especially after he got hurt this year. You have to protect his blind side, and that's going to be the next, in my mind, is Joe Thomas. I mean, just a player that's going to absolutely dominate, never miss a snap, just fundamentally sound starting off with it, and could maybe break Joe Thomas's record of most career starts, most Pro Bowl appearances since being in the league. I just think That's the pick of the draft right there. If they're
Yeah,
able.
I agree. You could do the most Pro Bowls, but to break Joe Thomas's record of like consecutive starts, I mean that just takes like obviously I love Joe Thomas. He played for the Browns. He was the best Browns player I've ever seen, but that takes just also a little bit of luck. Not ever having like a pulled groin for a week and things like that. So, but yeah, I mean, I think he fits well to the Joe Thomas kind of archetype, really. And I think he'll be, I mean, I hated it at the time, but when the Browns drafted Joe Thomas, like I said, I hated it at the time. But looking back on it, it was the best pick. Yes, the best pick they've made. So, and then we'll just do the top 10 and maybe some other ones that are on our mind. And then with the fourth pick, this is also very weird. They have the Chargers taking Caleb Farley, and they also have this guy, Josh Edwards, also has him ranked as the first corner in the draft, which is shocking because I've seen Patrick Surtain be the leader for cornerbacks all year. So that's
very surprising to me. I mean, Patrick Surtain, again, we kind of give players that come out of Alabama a little bit more benefit of the doubt, but I still think that's detriment to Patrick Surtain because Patrick Surtain is like a very technically sound corner, and he'll, he might not be, he doesn't have like a 6'5", 6'6" frame, but he's still a pretty big corner that can be physical and has great athleticism that can compete with some of these up and coming wide receivers.
Yeah. I'm looking at the Cowboys pick now. They have your boy Kyle Pitts going to them. Personally, I think that's a little too high, but
yeah,
the reasoning they have here is somewhat sound. I mean, if the Cowboys are trying to save money and trying to sign Dak for extended period of time, I guess if they draft Kyle Pitts, you have Amari Cooper as well, and I think Hunter Renfrow or Adam, one of the little slot receivers. So you could take Kyle Pitts and possibly explore a trade for Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Save, but that's only if you think that Dak Prescott is worth the kind of money he's going to get.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't see them going offense this pick. I see them going defense.
They definitely need defense. They definitely need defense.
Yeah, I think the only reason they don't take defense is if, say, like, I'm gonna mispronounce his name, but Kawiti Pay out of Michigan, or even Micah Parsons goes within the top 5 or top 4. I think that's the only way they don't pick a defensive player at number 5. But I don't see those two defensive players being there. I still think that they'll go for either a defensive tackle or they'll pick a perennial linebacker that can back up Jalen Smith and go with Micah Parsons. A future Mike linebacker.
Yeah, we got to kind of hurry this up. We're running really late, but I'm looking at. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, we're good. I'm looking at 6 and Jamar Chase. This is where I think the Eagles would either reach for a Trey Lance or be blessed to God that they that Justin Fields fell to them. I don't see Justin Fields falling out of the top 5. Well, actually, I take that back. If the Cowboys don't draft him and the Jaguars don't draft, or not even the Jaguars really. If the Cowboys don't draft him, he could slip all the way. I could see him slipping to 7, I guess, where they have so 6 is they have Jamar Chase, receiver from LSU that sat out this year. He is the number 1 receiver prospect. So that to me tells me that this guy thinks that Carson Wentz is still the guy for another year, or
even Jalen Hurts gets his opportunity for a full season.
Yeah. So, and then 7, they have your boy Zach Wilson. That's a perfect offense for him. I mean, to have Christian McCaffrey surrounding you on offense is absolutely awesome. I mean, you can hand the ball off to him 20 times a game, or you can find him. I mean, he's always open in the passing game, out in the flat, or anything like that. So, if any of the quarterbacks, out of the 3 quarterbacks taken, I would say Zach Wilson has by far the best opportunity to succeed with the Panthers. So, And then 8 is Kwity Paye, the defensive lineman from Michigan. 9 is Micah Parsons. I originally saw Michael Parsons at top 5, but maybe not. But this is huge for the Dolphins. I think it's their second first-round pick, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's their first of 2 first-round picks.
Yeah. But they have 2 first-round picks. They have 9, and then they also have one at, I believe it's 22. Yeah, 22.
So we'll just cover this one. I like Micah Parsons. I think he's going to make an immediate impact. We've seen middle linebackers in the past that have it used to be kind of like a touche. You don't draft a middle linebacker with your first pick, but we've seen guys like Devin White from LSU and Devin Bush from Michigan come right in and have success. So I have no doubt Micah Parsons would. Go ahead.
No, I cut you off. What were you going to say, Micah Parsons?
I just think he'll shine in Brian Flores' defensive system. He'll be the main focus. So
I'm just surprised he's the second. His position rank is number 2. Who's number 1? I don't even see the number 1. The next linebacker I see is Jace Horn from South Carolina, but he's ranked number 8.
J.C. Horn also isn't a linebacker.
I just don't know what the deal is with that then.
Yeah, he's the corner that left South Carolina early.
Yeah, that's what I thought so, but
this guy's crazy. We picked the wrong one.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for the first linebacker.
He's not. He doesn't have him being picked at all.
There's no way, because I see the 4th linebacker being picked.
The 7th one too. The kid out of Notre Dame, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. That's it. No number 1. Who's the number 1 linebacker then? It has to be a typo. There's no way Micah Parsons isn't the number 1.
Yeah, well, we got to kind of close this up, so we're gonna look at it afterwards. But yeah, that's crazy that he wouldn't be the number 1 linebacker. I can't even think of one that would be higher than him.
Yeah.
So, so with that, we bid you.
Wait. We
trivia. We have trivia. Yeah. Yes.
Trivia. Last trivia.
All right, you go first because I got to get mine.
Okay. So, my first question: who is tied with Ohio State with the 8th most national championships?
Is it Michigan?
Nope.
Okay, type it in.
Do you still want me to go, or you want your question?
You can go to another question.
Okay. So, going back to my true or false, or 2 truths, 2 lies. So, Ohio State had the 3rd most number 1 overall picks in the NFL draft. Which are the teams tied with 5? So, there's 3 of them.
All right, say it again.
So, Ohio State has the 3rd most number 1 overall picks in the NFL draft. Who are the 3 teams tied with 5?
Alabama.
You get there's 3 teams. You're supposed to name 3 teams.
Pro teams?
Yeah, no, college football teams.
Yeah, that have the most draft picks, right?
Yeah, there's 3 of them.
Alabama. LSU. And Michigan.
Nope.
Okay, type it in.
I did.
I got one that you should have been alive for, I think.
Do you want my last question since we're only doing 3?
No, I got one right now. So in 1998 and 1999, the Heisman Trophy went to 2 running backs. Where was I at? Went to 2 running backs in 1980, 98 and 99. One played in the Big 12 and one played in the Big 10. Name them.
Hold on. Okay, you went all over the place. So
in 1998 and 1999, running back won the Heisman Trophy winner.
Right.
One of the years that player played in the Big 12, and one of the years the next player played in the Big 10. Who are the two players?
Well, one's Ricky Williams Jr.,
Okay.
and then the other one was. Oh, I remember it. I remember it because his last name's really unique. Ron Dane.
Yep. Good one. I didn't think you get that one.
No, Ron Dane was one that I've just kind of. Again, I've been trying to go through the awards since you like to do a awards heavy question. So.
All right. You can ask your last one, and I'll come up with two.
So Ohio State, as I said, is the second most winningest college football program of all time. Who is the only college program that is ahead of them with 39 more wins?
Say it again.
So Ohio State is the second most winningest college football program of all time. Who is the team that is ahead of them? The only team that's ahead of them, and they're only ahead of them by 39 wins.
So who is number 2 in wins?
No, who's number 1? Ohio State's number 2. Who's number 1?
Oh, Michigan.
Yeah.
I knew that one. This one, yeah, you can do this one. So this person is widely known as the most overrated Heisman winner. Who is it?
Most overrated Heisman winner?
Yes, it came in the 2000s, and yeah.
You said so. Came in the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He played in the Big 12.
Played in the 2000s. Played in the Big 12. I just don't know if they're Big 12. I think I know who you're talking about. Are they ranked? Okay, yeah, I think I know who it is. Is it Jason White?
God damn it! How did you get that? I thought for sure you were thinking Eric Crouch, who is also widely known as
I was thinking of Eric Crouch too, but I'm like, wait.
Yeah, he was the only one I knew you would get. The real, I guess, most overrated Heisman winner was in 1994, who went to Rashawn Salam. Yeah.
Wow. Out of Colorado. Yeah, because he beat out McNair and is it Jay Barker, I believe?
I saw McNair. Hold on.
I think Jay Barker was also maybe he wasn't. Oh no, I'm thinking of Kajan Carter was the runner up. I know that much.
All right, I gotta find my next question.
No worries.
It'll be award based, don't worry. All right. All right. In 2013, this player won the Blitnikoff Award, and he played in the Big 12.
Whoa. Okay. Okay. Blitnikoff Award. What year?
2013. Played in the Big 12. Also plays for the Rams now.
He plays for the Rams now?
He's pretty good. He's pretty good in Madden.
Was he on the Patriots 2 years ago? Or 3? I think it was 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, he moved around. The Patriots might have been one of those teams.
Oh, Brandon Cooks.
I think you looked at it.
No, I didn't look at it. You got to tell. Like once I knew. Again, it was going because I forgot if Amari Cooper was 2014 or 2013, and then I knew Brandon Cooks was in one of those 2 years. But I knew it was as soon as you said you thought he played for the Patriots. I'm like, okay, Amari Cooper hasn't played for the Patriots, so it's got to be Brandon Cooks.
Oh, well, you got it. You ruined my fun. So I was one for 3. You were 3 for 3.
Mm-hmm.
I hate you.
Wait, you were 1 for 3, so I asked 4 questions.
No, 1 of 3. So 1 and 2, I guess. And you were 3-0. Better way to put it. Sorry. So with that, we bid you adieu. Thank you for tuning into this special long showing of the Fourth and Long podcast. Harvard, Notre Dame, UC, Oklahoma. That makes sense. Not the Harvard one really, but whatever. But yeah, we'll bid you adieu. Thank you for tuning into this long episode. We had some issues during the week, but we still came through for you guys on Friday. This will be
for sticking around. Those who did. Also, will not win the Heisman. Whoever said that, he's not going to win the Heisman. But
who said that?
You said someone said in the comments that I don't have access to the comment section anymore. I don't know why. I don't know if you turned it off, but whoever said that Ian Book would win the Heisman, I don't know if you're on some peyote over there, but he will not win the Heisman. Not in this universe.
It's Ryan. We work with him. Thanks for showing up, Ryan. He also had a comment that said, "Great show, guys. Love what you do."
Oh, thanks.
We just got all the love today, Ryan. You're our number one fan. So thankful. But yeah, tomorrow there will be games. We hope, I guess.
Yeah, we want to wake up in the morning and have all 6 games canceled.
I mean, like we said in the beginning, that there is just not a lot of games this week. Just because there's just not a lot of games because of COVID and everything else surrounding college football. But we will keep you updated on scores, especially in big games. I'll definitely have you updated on North Carolina and Miami, and then any other noteworthy scores or noteworthy stats or noteworthy plays, I should be there to update for you guys while Jake works. But other than that, make sure you follow us on Twitter. Jake's is, well, let me get rid of this one. Hold on. Jake's is right there. Piccuito Jacob at Piccuito Jacob. And mine is right there. Brownlow J CLE. And then obviously also follow the podcast at the number 4 TH and Long Pod. I will be posting our big board tomorrow morning probably. And yeah.
We appreciate you all for coming out for this extra long segment. And for sticking around for those who did.
I also want to make a quick, brief mention of, why can't I not remember his name? Hold on. Jarrett Patterson. Did we talk about him yet?
No.
So quickly, he's probably going to break the single season rushing yards record. He plays for Buffalo.
Oh, we talked about him last week.
Yeah, he had 8 touchdowns versus Kent and like 300 yards. So if Buffalo's on TV near you or their games are canceled, be sure to tune in for him. Like I said, it's the weirdest offense I've ever seen. It's like the center snaps it and the whole left side looks like they go to like screen block, but they're just blocking. And he just literally like floats over to the left behind the lineman and just runs straight. So he's not that great of a running back, even though he's getting first round looks. First round looks.
Finally said it.
What did I say?
No, like someone's finally giving credit to an offensive line.
Oh yeah, I mean he's not that good. I mean he's getting first round looks because
his offensive line is good.
Offensive lineman is good, and their coaches just found a scheme that's good for them. It's. I mean, if you ever get a chance to like look it up or something, it's one of the weirdest offenses I've ever seen. But like that, we'll give you good night.
Stay safe, everyone.
We'll be back hopefully next week, same time.
Tuesday.
You be good Tuesday or Wednesday?
Yeah, Tuesday we're gonna go with an afternoon edition on Justin's end on the East Coast time. Friday right now looks like we'll probably do the same.
Okay. So yeah, we'll keep you updated on that when all our shows are, and then hopefully we'll be at it on Tuesday to recap everything. And it should be getting down to the real thick of things of college football here the next couple of weeks. So we're going to try and ramp it up, get you as much information as we can, because basically our information, if it's the only place you get information, you need to know about the big things. So thanks for tuning in. Jake, you got anything?
Nope, just stay safe, everyone.
Yeah, definitely stay safe, especially it's getting worse. So like Jake said, Stay safe.